Okay, kid. Here's the ball game. After this, we go to magic. All you have to do is use my abilities and make a bunny. Yeah, easier said than done. Again. You're not giving me any explanation. How do I use your powers? Okay, kid. Since you're not running on pure instinct anymore, I'll give you a basic layout of the process that I go through. And we'll see if you can repeat it. When I use my powers, well... Okay, I'm gonna explain this, but do not be a little child about it, okay? What are you talking about, being a child? I am a child. I know you're a child. That did not escape my attention, Salus replied. I'm just saying don't be immature about this. What's to be immature about? Taleon asked, looking up at Salus with a crossed eyebrow, slightly raised on one side. Okay, kid. Here's the part that you're gonna need to be mature about. The mist that I produce is, well, technically, it's my sweat. What? Taleon said, feeling shocked, as a gout of laughter seemed to erupt from Rico. Master's power is sweat. It looks like teacher gave you the ability to sweat smoke. Rico think is super funny. Sweat man. Ooh, will Master start to smell stronger? Rico said, getting closer to Taleon and beginning to sniff his clothing. No, you just smell like burnt stuff. You know smell sweaty. Rico likes sweaty smell. No, I think I'm good, Rico, Taleon said, pulling away for a moment. As I said, let's try to be mature. That's just how my demonic ability works. My sweat glands are different. I'm able to channel my demonic energy through them, infusing the sweat that I produce with massive amounts of my demonic energy. This allows me to change its form and state, and how it reacts with light, air, and solid objects. Honestly, I understand it in a great measure of detail, but the truth be told, you don't need to understand it that well in order to use it. Just like your own demonic abilities, it's simply a measure of combining your will with the ability that you took from me. Basically, you will the steam, the fog that you produce, to take a form that you want. In order to use this ability, you need to tap into a sense of peace or serenity, of calm, like the feeling of sitting at the riverbank with your feet gently dipped into the water, on a sunny day with a cool breeze. Just utter relaxation. Then, once you have that feeling, you picture something. It can be an object or an animal, a place, or perhaps simply fog itself, as that's what its most natural state is, and the easiest to produce it in. By combining these two elements, you'll basically will the fog to create the illusion of whatever you want. Okay, fine, Taleon said, closing his eyes. One more time and I can use magic. Just get through this. Work, Taleon thought, as he tried to focus on something that would bring him to a state of being calm and peaceful. He worked through a number of different memories and feelings, but the one that brought him the most peace was a memory of him and his mother. There was one particular night when his mother allowed him to stay up late for a special occasion, because on that night there was a comet due to be passing over through the night sky, one that regularly circulates by. So him and his mother traveled to a high point near the river that flows down from the mountain. There, on a smoothened rock towards the side of the mountain, right by a somewhat picturesque waterfall, they sat for hours, simply snuggled together. They brought a warm blanket with them to watch the comet pass, as he simply laid there in his mother's arms, looking up at the night sky and feeling very comfortable there. At peace, you might say, as the feeling seemed to fill Taleon up. He then tried to picture something else. A rabbit. A fluffy white rabbit, with big fluffy ears and a puffball tail, like he had seen on countless occasions. He did have several rabbit friends that he kept in contact with. He did like making friends with many of the forest creatures. His specific rabbit friends had actually gone through 2 generations of rabbits that would visit and that he would feed and play with. So, getting the image in his mind wasn't very difficult. "Okay, rabbit," he said as he opened his eyes and focused in front of him. But nothing seemed to be happening. "Ugh, it's not working," Taleon said, looking over to Salus. "It's okay, I didn't expect you to get it on the first try." "Oh, have you started focusing your demonic energy yet?" "What? You didn't cover that." "Ugh, it's just like your other demonic abilities, Taleon. If it's going to work for you, you're going to need to use your demonic energy. You're going to need to imagine it as your skin. Try to force the energy to resonate in your skin, to flow there. Once it's densely compact within your skin, then my power should start taking effect. So, try it again." "Fine," Taleon said frustratedly as he closed his eyes and went through all the steps again, this time adding in the focusing his demonic energy to his skin. It should feel like a tingling sensation, like feeling a breeze right after you get out of the water. And as Salus said the words, Taleon started to experience it, that feeling, a tingling on his skin. But he didn't open his eyes to check, as he did want to make sure that he got this right, so that he could move on and be done with it already. He was very anxious to start training in magic. "Okay, a rabbit, a fluffy bunny. Picture it. Now make it," he said, extending his arms outward in front of him. And as he opened his eyes, he saw thick billowing wafts of fog and steam seeming to flow out of his body, all rushing towards a direction in front of him, swirling around on the ground and beginning to build. Finally, the fog began to coalesce into a form, that of a fluffy white rabbit, with one distinction from a regular rabbit. This rabbit was absolutely massive. It must have been at least 4 foot tall, from its feet to the top of its ears, and at least that long. It looked like a normal rabbit, but its size was just absurd. "Okay, I think I did something wrong," Taleon said, staring at the massive rabbit, which began seemingly scratching behind its ear and making regular rabbit behaviors. What did I do wrong?" "Okay, so that's interesting," Salus said, staring at the rabbit, looking it over intensely as he began to close in, reaching down and actually beginning to touch it. As he did, he found that it was in fact physical. He could touch the rabbit. It had fur and physical form and felt soft to his touch. Yep. It looks like it's a storage system. What do you mean, storage system? What are you talking about? Don't you think it's weird that the rabbit you made is so big? Well, yeah, that's why I was asking, Taleon replied. So what's the deal? Why is the rabbit that big? Well, it's simple. You didn't give a specific amount of energy to how big you wanted the rabbit to be. You simply focused your demonic energy on it, without giving specifics to size. So, it used all of the demonic energy that you gathered from me. Well, hold on. Your rabbit wasn't that big. No, Talion, it wasn't. But, before, when we fought, back when you basically lost control over yourself, you managed to absorb a great deal of my demonic energy in its fog state. And you still had a good measure of it when I was able to knock you unconscious. I simply managed to clear enough away to get to your head. By the looks of it, you retained that power. So, if I were to hazard a guess, I'd say your ability works as a storage system for other people's demonic energy. In other words, once you absorb someone's demonic energy and gain control over their power, you're both given and limited to that amount of power. It's not like you can simply use it forever as much as you want. Your body doesn't begin producing demonic energy that matches what's required to utilize the ability. No, you're limited by the amount that you absorbed from your opponent. But, on the upturn, that demonic energy doesn't seem to fade away over time. You absorbed demonic energy from me days ago, and by the looks of it, the amount that you were able to retain is basically the same that you had left coating your body. That, combined with the little white rabbit that you just absorbed, was enough to form this oversized rabbit. And not only that, but you were able to make it physical as well. There's a reason that most people believe that sirens can only create illusions. And don't go running your mouth about this. This is sort of a secret of the trade. But a siren's ability to produce these illusions, and the physical ones that you've come in contact with and seen me use, when it comes to those, the difference is in the output. Basically, most sirens, like Rico here, are very weak. No different in that fact than the Eco. We don't normally possess large measures of demonic energy. So, the illusions that we produce are made of a very small and fine amount of the fog that we make. Basically, they're not dense enough to be physical, which is why you pass through them if you try to touch them, or they simply dissipate altogether. But if you're able to gather enough demonic energy and focus it into the fog, then the things that you create can become physical because of the quantity of demonic energy that was transferred into fog. The denser the fog you produce, the more solid the object, the more powerful it is. That's why your oversized bunny is still physical, because it's a dense amount of fog packed into it.